welcome to my podcast. My name is Jackie K, and this is Sipping with Jack. On this episode of Sipping with Jack, we'll be discussing 6ix9ine and his snitching frenzy. Also, we might talk about snitching in general and the whole mentality about it. We're going to talk about Beyoncé getting snubbed at the Emmys, child, and so much more. Also, I will be highlighting my favorite drink of the week, which is a Lime Sangaria. This is a very flavorful punch drink, generally made with red wine and chilled with fruit. Now let's get sipping. But before we get into these topics, let's get into the drink of the week. This is a full recipe drink, but if you're interested in a single serving, please check out my website, SippingwithJack.com, for a single serving recipe. For a full serving Lime Sangaria, you'll need a half a cup of lime rum, which I personally used the flavored rum from the brand Malibu, just because I'm a little biased with Malibu. Then you'll also need a half a cup of orange juice, 1 bottle of red wine, I used reggae wine, 1 tablespoon of lime juice, 1 sliced orange, and about 6 to 8 sliced strawberries to put into the pitcher. So make sure you put all the ingredients in together in a large pitcher, and you can chill it immediately so you can let all those yummy flavors soak in together. That's all you have. That's how you make a lime sangria. It's very yummy and super fruitful, but it's not very sweet. So if you're someone who's not looking for a very sweet drink, this is something that's on that side, but it does have that fruitful flavor. Okay, now let's get into these topics. The first topic I wanted to talk about was 6ix9ine and him snitching everywhere, snitching right and left, which I'm not gonna lie. At first, when 6ix9ine went to jail, I wasn't interested. Like, honestly, I was not interested in the story, like, at all, because even when he wasn't in prison, he wasn't that great of an individual when he was out. He was always trolling people, and if anybody wants to forget, he does have charges against a 13-year-old for improper stuff, so that's why I never really liked him. And also, he was a Mexican that always said the N-word, which that's a whole nother thing about, but I did not like that, so I never really, was truly fond of him. So when he went to prison, girl never batted an eye. I did not care. And then people were really shook that they're like, okay, he's gonna start snitching. Yet again, I didn't see the point because I wasn't interested in his life at all. So I'm like, okay, what if he is snitching? What's the point of that? And now I understand the dangers of him snitching. Because the other day, Shorty, his manager, was given 15 years. Just because of 6ix9ine snitching. His own snitching got him locked up. Which, if you do the crime, you do the time. But when I started thinking about it, I'm like, it's not fair. How is 6ix9ine able to snitch on everybody? Everybody in this gang. What is it called? Treyway. He snitched on everyone, and he's not going to get time for it. Because he took accomplice deal, or a witness deal, or a snitching deal. I don't know what kind of deal he took, but basically he took a deal with the feds, and basically he's gonna snitch on everyone, and he's not gonna get any time for it. And I'm like, that kind of annoys me, even though I wasn't really caring about him at all. But now he's in turn messing up a lot of people's lives, because he even said from his own mouth, he was pushing heroin, he was calling hits on people, he was doing all of that stuff, but because he snitched first, he's not gonna get any time. Lies. Y'all playing with me right now. You are playing with me that this man doesn't get any time. I don't know. I guess I'm just really, really mad that this is happening, because no one deserves that. And now I understand the true power snitching has, and I'm not down with it. I used to not care about it, but homegirl ain't with it anymore. If you do the crime too, you going down with me. We ain't about to be like, okay, hey, I do the crime, but I'm not going to do any of the time because I'm a snitch on all of y'all. I don't know. I don't know. I don't care. It just gets me mad. And then also, when he was on the stand, he even, I guess, confessed that there's other celebrities that are affiliated with Treyway or affiliated with the Bloods, which we kind of been knowing that there's a lot of rappers or celebrities that are affiliated with gangs, but I guess he officially saying it out loud. So he said that Jim Jones is part of Treyway or the Bloods, and then Cardi B is also affiliated with them, which we know Cardi B was a Blood, but like, for him to say that they're connected with Treyway, yo, you're blowing up people's spots, 6ix9ine. You're really blowing them up, and you know Cardi has a case on her. So I don't know, and I only know he did that to call out Cardi B because his girlfriend or his wife, I don't know, it's weird, but his girl, Jade, was the one that was beaten up by Cardi B's gang people. She's the one who called the hit, basically, to beat up Jade and her sister, who is sleeping with Offset. Oh, so messy. These people are just messy individuals all together. But I think he basically said that for Cardi B to look worse in her case, the stripper brawl case going on right now, and make it seem like, yeah, she got strings. She's the one who did this. So, I don't know. I just think it's super interesting how all of this is playing out, even though, for me, I never cared. And I didn't really see the implications of, you know, snitching as a whole. But now I'm starting to see it. And then now I understand why you just don't do it. And I kind of want to see how this whole thing will end up playing out. Because they said 6ix9ine is not going to get any time. Basically, it's going to be, you know, time served or rendered, basically, by the courts. And he's going to be able to get out, live his life free. And screwing up everybody else's life. But I'm just interested to see, how is he gonna insert himself back into the community? Or, because first of all, his rap career is dead. It's like done, which I don't even know who was even co-signing him. Like, to be honest, I don't know why you even want to like affiliate yourself with someone who is 6ix9ine, but besides the point. But for him to be able to come back into any community and not people see him as such a snitch or like a rat. And also, even before he went to jail, he was kidnapped. One of his music video shoots got shot up. So if they were trying to kill him before he even went to jail, I certainly think that he's not going to last very long outside of jail. And I don't know. I just want to see how everything turns out for, you know, Daniel Hernandez, and just how the whole community will accept him. You know, there was also another interview where T.I. says he's going to come back fine, which I don't want to believe that, but if T.I., someone who's pretty high in the hip-hop industry, is saying he's going to be fine when he comes out, says a lot about black hip-hop artists, more than it says about him. So that's all I'm gonna say. But let's get into the next topic. So the next topic is Beyoncé getting snubbed at the Creative Arts Emmys. So this is basically different than the like regular Emmys. This is like another Emmys. But Beyoncé got snubbed. I believe she was nominated for 6 different, you know, well, she was nominated for 6 different categories. That's what I mean to say. And within those 6 categories she was nominated, homegirl didn't get one. One! And I'm so confused how she didn't even get one. She didn't even get one. They couldn't even toss or anything. And if anybody watched Homecoming, Beyonce's masterpiece, Baychella, you know, behind the scenes of Baychella and all the hard work she put into that beautiful performance that, mind you, we will never get again. I am telling you, we had Taylor Swift try to do the band thing, which is Blanchella. Well, she tried to do that, and then, of course, people dragged her because you're not Beyonce. Don't do that, sis. And I don't know. We're never going to get something like that again. And for them to just kind of dismiss her Netflix special as if it's not that great to be nominated for. Or, well, it was nominated, but it wasn't that great to, like, win an award. Baffles me, because I know she lost out for Rent, and I'm not gonna lie, I love Rent. Rent is one of my favorite, movies that I've watched, and I watched the version that was on NBC, I believe, and I had Tekashi and all of those people, and oh my gosh, I love Rent. I really do. Like, I'm fanatic for it, but I don't know, like, Beyonce's homecoming performance, Beychella, was just so innovative and amazing, and I know that we're never gonna see it again. Like, we will not see Beychella again. If anybody wants to say that we will see it again, I'm gonna bet $50 on that, because we won't see. I'm telling you, we will never see something like that again. And for them not to, like, at least award her or reward her for her hard work or her efforts into making Beychella into Beychella, almost gets my blood boiling. But also, one of the categories she also lost out on, in the category, I don't remember what category it was, but it was the category where James Corden, sorry, my bad. James Corden's Celebrity Singing in a Car show, oh my gosh. Car Karaoke. You see how much I don't watch that show, so I don't really know. But Car Karaoke won against Homecoming. So I'm like, y'all really playing with her. Like, the disrespect that was happening is very clear. It's evident with that. And actually, I was talking to someone the other day, and they were basically saying that since Beyonce came out with Lemonade and been directing her music and kind of her whole image towards Black acceptance, especially towards Black women, it's like people have just been pushing her to the side so easily and so effortlessly that it almost shakes me. And I don't know. But then also, the same person was saying that, like, Beyonce just fell off. Like, people aren't that interested. And I almost slapped them in the face, because it's not true. People are still very interested in Beyonce. It's just not what you guys watch. But we still have to acknowledge how talented and how amazing that performance was, and how amazing that Netflix special was. It showed a sign of how hard Beyonce worked, and just the music selection and everything. Like, it just surprised me that she didn't win anything, and all of the other people that went out against her, y'all should be feeling some type of way. Y'all should really be feeling some type of way, because I feel like they just didn't want to give Beyonce the awards. And I'm not trying to be like no Beehive conspiracy theorist, because I don't really consider myself to be in the Beehive, but I am a Beyonce stan. I'm just not that, like, stanny. But for her just not to get anything, it just doesn't make sense, because you see how hard she worked and how great of a masterpiece it was. For her not to get anything really says a lot about y'all versus what Beyonce does, because Beyonce puts literally 200% in everything she does, and, like, for her not to get anything back, or to get even that she doesn't even get even like a acknowledgement or a nod. It was just like, oh yeah, she did something cute, but, like, have y'all seen Car Karaoke though? Like, it just goes back to that mindset of Black excellence is always measured up against white mediocrity. And we know that. We know that all the time. But what do you guys think about the whole situation? Do you think that Beyonce was truly snubbed at the Emmys and they just did not want to give her deserving awards? Or do you just think that there was just other things better than Beychella? Which, I'm even laughing because that question ain't even serious. But if you guys truly do believe that there were just better options and better picks than Homecoming, then, like, let me know in the comment section. But, like, I'm honestly might ignore those comments because they're not true. Anyway, to the next topic, which is about Taylor Swift. And if you guys watched my other podcast, which I talked about unpopular music opinions, I didn't briefly touch on Taylor Swift. She was a talking point for me. And how I believe Taylor Swift is actually, I really think Taylor Swift is almost a bully, but she's done it in such a good way. I don't know how to say it. Like, somebody was saying it the other day that, like, Taylor Swift has been a victim. Like, there has been a lot of things that Taylor Swift has been a victim of, especially, like, the original 2009 incident with her and Kanye West. That, she was a victim in that. But there comes a point when a victim becomes a bully, and that's what she's kind of done. She's taken that victim mentality and almost skewed it to become a bully and call people out and make it seem like it's everyone else's problem, but not her. Anyway, in saying all of that, Taylor Swift is still talking about Kanye West, which I don't understand why she is. Nobody cares at this point anymore. The whole Kanye and Taylor Swift thing, the original beef started 10 years ago. 10 years ago. So why are we still talking about it? Like, she was saying in an interview that, what Kanye West should have done after the VMAs, or what he should have told her, or whatever. And I'm just like, I'm over this. Like, girl, if you keep milking this situation, because that's all she's doing. She's literally just milking the situation of her versus Kanye, because she literally has nothing else going on. And I know somebody's gonna be like, well, she has the album, she has all this other stuff. But if she really had things going on in her life, she wouldn't constantly be talking about a feud that started over 10 years ago. And then literally the last known thing that happened to them was like, what? When she came out and, like, lied about the whole like, famous song. Yeah, and then Kim Kardashian came out and called her out. And she's still, I feel like that happened, like, almost 2 years ago, or, like, at least over a year ago, because she's released at least 2 albums since that whole situation where Kim called her out. Why are you still talking about it? Like, we completely understand that, like, okay, you and Kanye obviously have issues. Y'all have beef, but why do you have to keep talking about it? Is there nothing else going on in your life that you keep having to say something about this? At this point, you look obsessed, sis. And that's all I'm going to say. Taylor Swift, you look obsessed with Kanye West. And that's an issue. Like, that's a real issue on your end. And Kanye, if you listen in, don't even bother saying anything back to her. Literally, just keep doing you. And Taylor Swift will be shown more how obsessive she is about Kanye West and any issues. And her, like, calling out, like, Justin Bieber, like, oh, he was mean to me. Like, she keeps holding on to these grudges and arguments, and it's not healthy. Like, whatever she's doing is not healthy. And for anyone to say that, like, well, Taylor Swift is just talking, like, she wants to express herself. Yeah, you can express yourself, but don't talk about things that happened years ago as if they happened yesterday. That's the weird thing. And then you have these people who keep apologizing to you. And I don't like that, because I know somebody who I used to be friends with that you had to keep apologizing to, even though it was like, it's beyond the point now. Like, if I have to keep apologizing, you're just holding it on, and now it's your issue. It's not my issue anymore, because I said sorry, and if you keep holding on to it, you clearly have an issue. so it's not me. And I feel like that's kind of how Taylor Swift is. She can't let things go. And sis, if you're really happy and you love your life, these issues shouldn't be affecting you that hard. And I don't know, it just really bothers me and gives me an eye roll. But flipping it back to you guys, what do you guys think about the whole Taylor Swift and her obsessive style with Kanye West? Do you think that she really is obsessed? Or do you think that she's just expressing herself? And she really was a victim and she needs to tell people every day? I don't know. I'm just like over it. She just needs to get out of here, like, with that stuff. Like, we get it. It happened. It happened 10 years ago. And then another situation happened like 2 years ago. So stop with that. Okay, so for the last topic, I will be talking about the Kevin Hart crash. If you guys watched my last podcast, I talked about the Kevin Hart crash in my Trigger Trish section. I think I've actually talked about it for like 3 different podcasts. Maybe I'm obsessed with this car crash. I don't know. But it's just interesting. With the first time I talked about it, I just said that something just didn't make sense. The second time I talked about it, more details came out that for dang sure it just did not make sense for, you know, how they were saying that the girl was pinned in the back seat and it turns out there isn't a back seat to the car and all of this other stuff that's just coming out. But it was just released today that all of the people that were in the car, the trainer, the trainer's fiance, and Kevin Hart, they've all gotten lawyers. And apparently the 2 people in the vehicle are going to sue Kevin Hart. I don't know how well that's going to work out because basically the whole narrative is spinned towards Kevin Hart to like almost protect him. So I don't know how well this lawsuit will go, even though the trainer's fiance was injured very badly. And I don't know, I really hope that something can be sorted out, because for him to leave a car crash and for him to leave 2 other people in the car acting like as if they never existed or like he was never with them seems very selfish and very entitled on his end. But for them to be able to sue him for something, if it's truly alleged that the personal trainer was driving the car, then I don't know how much he can sue Kevin. It might be like sue because his car wasn't structured in the right way. You know, as I said, they only had lap seatbelts. They didn't have like the regular seatbelts that go across your chest, which those cars, especially since it was, I think, a 1970 Plymouth car. If I'm wrong about that, my bad. But it's a 1970s car, so it's a little older, so it doesn't meet all of the legal, you know, roadway, you know, regulations. But if they are able to sue, then they can basically sue that the car wasn't suitable for them to be driving. It was a road hazard before they even got into the car, and they didn't know that acknowledgement, because most of those cars should have safety harnesses on them, but he didn't have any of those in there because he wanted to keep the car as classic as it should have been for his liking, but it didn't. So let's see. What do you guys think? Do you think that he should be able to get sued from his other, I think, how do I say it, like, other car crash victims, since he wasn't the one driving, but it was his car? Or do you think that we should just leave Kevin Hart alone and help him recover? I don't know. I feel like Kevin Hart is responsible in some form or some shape. He is responsible for the car accident, but does it equate to having some monetary gain from it? I don't know. I do have some other conspiracy theories about the car crash, but I will keep them to myself until I find out the true story, because I am not into this whole story of just giving me lies, y'all. And I don't know, I'm just not about it, and I feel like the media is just twisting the story to be something that's not true. So I'm gonna wait, I'm gonna sit back, relax and see if my conspiracy theories are right. So let's see. The next topic I wanted to talk about was Kenya Moore and her husband divorcing. This story was, I don't want to say shook worthy, but it really shocked me. They've only been married for about 2 years. So I didn't see this coming at all. I thought they were happy. I thought her little baby Brooklyn was cute and their marriage was cute and whatever. But apparently it wasn't all good. And it just shows that all that glitters is not gold, hunty. Even on Instagram, do not believe the hype. Do not believe what people are posting because it might not even be real. And this was proof about it because now she's divorcing her husband. They're basically saying they can't agree on things. I think it really had to do with her going back to Real Housewives of Atlanta. He never wanted to be on the show in the beginning, and now that she's on the show, back again on the show, I think it's causing a lot of issues and problems. But you know what I also heard was that her husband lied to her and basically lied to her and kept hidden the fact that he had a whole ex-wife and a whole baby from her. So that whole child, that drama, and apparently he got a lot of tax issues. So like apparently he was trying to like ask her to help him pay since they're married now. Ugh, girl, you probably should have vetted him before you married him, but you know what? You want to do a secret eloping? Now you got all of these issues. Now you got all of these problems, Kenya. I'm sorry about it. But, you know, he has tax issues. She's not able to pay or even help him. And, you know, he has a whole nother family, which it's not like he's married or anything else. You know, he divorced the wife and, like, they had a child. But apparently, you know, as I said before, he didn't tell her about any of this stuff. So for her, yeah, that's a lot. And I can easily see why you would divorce somebody for that, because that's a lot of things to keep secret and a lot of messiness to do. But I don't know. Overall, I'm kind of just sad to see that they are getting a divorce, because I feel like Kenya, she's always wanted to be married. She's always wanted to be in love. She's always wanted to have a family like that. And for us to finally see that happen for her, I think we were all more emotionally invested than we should have been. I think, you know, at least for me, I think I was a little more emotionally invested than I should have been, because she's always wanted this. And then now, like, she got it. It wasn't that great, you know, it wasn't that great of a setup, and now she's getting a divorce. So, I don't know. And I really hope, the other conspiracy theory is that she's doing this because she needs to add a storyline for Real Housewives of Atlanta. And I really hope that's not true. But you know, some of these reality people are kind of fake, and they'll lie about a storyline, because reality TV shows in general are not that believable. They're not really that real. So for her to lie about this is a possibility. I really hope not, because this does affect her child, Brooklyn. So I hope that doesn't happen. But what do you guys think? Do you guys think that this is true and he really do got a whole family on the side that he never really told her about? All of his tax issues were a real reason of why they're divorcing? Or do you think that this is just another great storyline for her to come back to Real Housewives of Atlanta? I don't know. We'll have to see, because this truly makes me sad, but then it also gives me like, are we sure about this? But I don't know. We'll just have to see how everything works out in the season of Real Housewives of Atlanta, I guess. Okay, so now wrapping up the show, I'm going to be talking about my Triggered Trish story of the week. This is just a story that has popped up on my timeline, or just something that really interests me and got my blood boiling to the point of I just need to talk about it and, rant about it. So this isn't really a story, but I saw this on Instagram, and I guess I was thoroughly confused what was happening in this picture. Like, I don't know. So I'm gonna lay this out. So basically on Instagram, I was scrolling and I saw this billboard picture, and I read the comment, and it was basically like, wow, they have these stuff in Alabama. So when I looked at the billboard, it said getting drunk, like something about getting drunk, which I was like, okay, maybe it's like a drunk driving billboard, because sometimes they do that in states. I'm like, okay, they say getting drunk is not an excuse. She's your daughter, not your date. And I was taken back because I was like, oh, maybe it's like two different billboards. Like, I'm confused, like what is going on in this billboard? And the more I realized, oh my gosh, they're talking about incest. And I apologize if this is like a bigger topic and people are uncomfortable with this, but this actually shook me, because you literally have to make a billboard or advertise this in the state of Alabama. Like, is it such a big issue in your state that you guys have to make billboards and literally PSA announcements about this? I think I got shook and a little triggered, because I'm just like, what is happening in Alabama? What is happening in your state? And when I was thinking about it, it is normal. Like, it's very normal for states to make PSA billboards, or just basically billboards speaking about things that are very common in their state. Like, for example, where I live in Indiana, they usually make a lot of signs for like speeding, which, let me tell ya, some of y'all be like preparing for the Fast and Furious sometimes. Like, I'm confused how sometimes y'all drive on the streets. I'm like, are we not just driving to get home? Or are we secretly all auditioning for the Fast and Furious? And I didn't know. Like, oh my gosh. Some people, oh my goodness. I'm sorry, that triggered me too. Or, my sister lives in Ohio, so when I visit her, I see a lot of drunk driving, billboards and signs of like, don't, drink and drive, buckle it up, all of that stuff. So for it to be in Alabama, to be so apparent that there's that type of issue, that y'all have to make billboards to say that, like, that's not okay, it must be so prevalent. And I know some people like to make jokes that, like, down south, y'all be, like, marrying your cousins and all of that stuff, but literally, it almost made me want to gag. Like, I'm like, this is so disgusting, and for a state to even have to publicly tell people how wrong this is and how disgusting it is, it literally blows my mind more. Like, I don't even know what else to say. Like, I'm just shook. I'm so triggered to even think that, like, hey, maybe you should leave your children alone. Like, literally, oh my goodness. Like, I feel like that's just something you don't have to say. Like, it's just common sense. Like, clearly people in Alabama don't have common sense, and they literally have to be told by the government or told by agencies, like, hey, yeah, this is not good. Like, this should not happen. I don't know. It just, honestly, when I saw that, my little brain was like, I can't compute at all. Like, I'm just like, this is not normal. Like, this is just not okay. And I don't know. So anyway, that was my trigger trash story of the week. As you can tell, sis is shook. I'm so triggered because it's just our world sometimes. It really is our world that I gotta pray for sometimes. But anyway, I hope you guys like the different layout of this podcast. Instead of doing the drink of the week in the middle of the podcast, I thought might as well put it in the beginning, so you guys can be able to pause in the beginning and make the drink, and then come and sit down for the rest of the show and be able just to talk to me. Well, you ain't really talking to me, but I can talk to you and then you can comment along. I think that's a little better than, breaking up the flow of the podcast. But if you guys are interested in anything else, just let me know in the comment section below. And please if you want to follow my podcast, go ahead and do that. I also put my podcast on YouTube, so if you're interested in that, go ahead, listen, subscribe. And also follow me on all my social media platforms. They will be listed in the description box below. But I want to flip it everything back to you guys. Just let me know how you guys feel in the comment section below. And I will see you guys next week. Thank you guys for watching, and keep on sipping.